Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you again. This week we're going to be looking at an awkward scenario the student got in where his core abandoned the lane early and was also flaming him the entire time. So the student was questioning whether his pick was correct, whether he should have continued laning, whether he was messing it up. And this video is mainly going to be about handling toxicity, but also the mistakes the student was making because of the toxic atmosphere. I hope it's helpful for you. Enjoy the video. Yeah, okay, so let me try and summarize it. So basically, you thought Bounty Hunter was a good pick because he counters Invis and it's a good econ hero, right? Yeah, okay, so I would agree with that. That all makes sense. Like Bounty Hunter into a Nyx, into like a Nature's Prophet, Invoker, like he's a good hero here. You're against 4 squishies, and two of them are explicitly Invis, which is what Bounty Hunter's good at. I think it's fine. And for the lane, I can see what the Spirit Breaker would be complaining about because he's like, oh, you picked a melee with my melee hero and that doesn't synergize. But here's the thing, Spirit Breaker is not a good laner anyway. So, and because Bounty Hunter is also just a really annoying support if you play it well, because he has like 9 armor and he stuns you on hit and he steals your gold. Like he's actually like decent at harassing and trading. So it actually doesn't really matter that these two are ranged and you're 2 melee. I mean, it's not like gonna be fun, but if this guy basically, let's pretend you were playing the Spirit Breaker, right? How would you play this lane? What you would want to do is just constantly defensively aggro. No, you just defensively aggro. You just pull the creeps to you. Just keep pulling the creeps back. Keep pulling the creeps back. You just never want them to be able to actually click you. And you just do that over and over again. That's what you do in any lane where you're not favored. You just defensively aggro over and over and over and over again. And then the thing is, if you don't win the harass battle, sometimes what you can do is just kill the other heroes. Like, if we sit here in static lane and I let them click me over and over, I'm gonna lose the lane. But what if I just charge Venge while Bounty Hunter's hitting Venge? Like, and we just kill her. And we just do that.
I was thinking like he could just defensive harass, and then when it's like ready, he just charges other lanes like all the time, like if that makes sense. And then because he can get to and from other lanes quickly, like he could just literally charge play defensively, and as soon as an opportunity, just get like gank like from the off lane.
Yeah, see, but that's the thing. It's like, okay, so you don't have to abandon this lane. This lane is playable. It's not going to be the best, but it is playable. So
no, I meant just if you're the Spirit Breaker. Like,
either way. So, because you don't want to be charging around the map when you're level 1 or 2, right? You want to get your levels so that when you do charge someone, it's actually going to do something. So you need to actually you need to lane. You can't just not lane, right? And then what you need to do is if you're very unfavored, what you should try and do is all of the lane stuff. All of the weird shenanigans. So that means defensive aggro, doing pulls, cutting creeps and dragging them to your tower. Like any weird creep trick that you can do to make it so that, okay, they're not allowed to just click me. I farm over here and they farm over here. And so that is partly your job. So this guy's job as the Spirit Breaker is to defensively aggro and actually try to lane, right? Your job is to basically pull the Venge away from him and then make it so that like you never just have 2 creep waves punching each other. You want to split it up as much as possible, right? So as an example, like let me just show you some things you could do. Let's back it up here a little bit. Okay, so
we have to put the stream.
I'm streaming on Twitch, but yeah, here, sorry, my bad. Pull it up. There you go. You see okay?
Yeah.
All right, so this went well. The creeps went under the tower on the first one. Not bad, right? And I think where you're positioned here is fine. You got to be careful about drawing this aggro to yourself, though, when you click him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where you guys would want to aggro the creeps away. And this is also like once you see this camp doesn't spawn, you know she's blocked it. So I'd want to see immediately, I'd want to see a sentry, right? So like 1 minute hits, this camp doesn't spawn. Okay, I need a sentry. Also, if you check her inventory and see that she has a sentry, okay, I need a sentry as well anyway. Like, basically, you need to show up to lane with probably at least 2 sentries. A, because you're invis and they're going to try and ward to catch you. And B, because you know this is terrible, right? Or it's terrible on paper. It's not really terrible, but we're thinking it is. So you're going to want to like block the camp like you did, and you're going to want to try and get your own pulls, right? So you need this to be unblocked. So more sentries, basically. That's the first thing. This guy should be defensive aggroing to himself all the time. And then other than that, you just pick up the last hits that he can't get, try and get denies every now and then if it looks okay. You know, I wouldn't deny this one. But other than that, you just try to harass the Venge away. Like, that's it. That's all you got to do. And if it's like, because the creeps are right here, you don't have to do anything. You literally have to do nothing here. And actually, if this guy isn't going to defensive aggro like he's supposed to, you could just do it for him. Just walk here and, you know, click the sniper, and then, you know, walk over here, click the sniper, and run back to your range creep. I mean, don't do it here because it's like a good spot, but you can do that whenever you want. Just because it's like he's supposed to do it, you can do it too. Okay. So here, there's nothing to do at all. Like, you're just getting XP. That's it. It's too early to like roam around. This isn't necessary. You don't have to do this. And then this is also, you got to be really careful with this, like dragging these under, because that's going to shove your lane again, right? So a little bit what I would say is going on here is that you're actually overplaying because you feel like it's not the best.
Oh, like it basically at him, like he was like proper like screaming, like hit like attack them, like do something, like in the lane.
Just mute him. Just mute him. Oh. Okay, so here's my read on it. All right. You guys aren't really favored in this lane, straight up.
Yeah.
You can actually just kill them once you get a few levels. Like, you guys are running a kill lane, they're running a harass farm lane, right? Kill lane beats that. Just, that's straight up. But until you get like a couple levels, maybe level 3 or 4, where you're going to be able to reliably like go kill them, you need to do the creep shenanigans. That's creep cutting, creep pulling, defensive aggro, all that stuff needs to happen, right? Yeah. Other than that, you still want to get golden XP here. So if Spirit Breaker is allowed to hit creeps and get XP, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be killing this guy over and over again. You don't have to be completely zoning the sniper away. Not every lane is going to go perfectly, right? So this guy is being a bit of an idiot. You gotta just, like, if he's flaming you constantly for this, you know, while he's buying a stick and not buying himself regen, you just mute him. Just mute him. Okay. And play the way you think you should play, because I can tell, like, you made it even harder on yourself. I don't know if he was yelling at you at this point, but basically,
he was yelling literally from the beginning.
Yeah. So you gotta just mute people like this, because they're just gonna make it harder to play. They're gonna screw with your confidence in what you're doing, right? That's gonna be the main takeaway. Takeaway number 1 from this video: mute people. Okay. So as an example here, like there's no reason you couldn't aggro. This is all fine. Don't engage right now because they have creep advantage, right? They're double ranged. Right here, you don't have to do nothing. The most I would want to see is like you go to try and deny this creep. Because if you go to harass the Venge, the sniper's just going to click you. You're 2v1. That's no good. If you go to click the sniper, you're going to draw the aggro of all these creeps. That's no good, right? You can't harass here. You can't do anything. And you're both level 1. They're both level 2. This is not the time to make a play, right?
Okay.
Just wait for level 2. See how it looks. This is not good, because look what happens. Look how much damage you take, and look where the creeps go and all this stuff, and then you accidentally pull them under tower, which makes it even worse, right? And so now the lane's gonna rubber band, and now again, see, you're fighting away from Spirit Breaker and the creeps, so you take a ton more damage. And I would say this is the reason why you don't actually need to worry about that much. Even with both of those bad choices, you still are not dead. Because Bounty Hunter has 9 armor and it's insane. So you can actually afford to misplay like that hard, right? So just imagine if you hadn't done all that and you were still full health, and like once their creeps die, you then go on them, right? and you both have level 2, and he just charges Venge, and you walk up and smack Venge and stun her, and you just do a bunch of damage. You don't even have to get the kill. You just take half her health, and then she's scared, and she uses regen. And then eventually you do it again, and eventually you will kill them. You just have to, like, you're not taking trades, you're like chunking them. You take like a big chunk and then you back off, right? And you go back to like playing kind of like a pansy, and then you just chunk them again and back off. And eventually you do that enough times, they're out of regen, they're kind of low, and then you can just kill them. So where they have to constantly stab you over and over and over again, you're like, it's basically like a dagger versus a sledgehammer in a duel, right?
Okay.
Like, the guy with the sledgehammer is not gonna make as many attacks as the guy with the dagger. He just can't keep up. It's not fast enough, right? So he's gonna get cut over and over and over again, and every now and then he's just gonna smack the guy with his sledgehammer, and he's gonna hit him way harder. And so if he just times that right, he's gonna win eventually, just with like 3, you know, maybe 1, 2, 3 good hits. He just wins, while the other guy has to stab you 15 times, right? Does that kind of make sense as an analogy?
Yeah.
A weird analogy, I know, but that is effectively what's going on here. You guys have more firepower, like overall, but they have more consistent harass. So it's annoying, right?
Yeah.
But in between that, we want to be doing all the stuff to make sure that, like, they could have frozen the lane here. There's no reason this should have gone under tower like it did. What they should do is try and freeze it right here so you guys can't come in and take big swings at them. And they just farm and poke you every now and then, right? Holy crap, how long is this paused for? Wow, all right. Is it going now? Are things happening? Okay, thank God. So this is them screwing up as well. They should not let this go under tower, because now it's just gonna rubber band again, right? We don't want that. They want it to be static right here. You want it to be static right here. That's it. So now it's coming back to you. This guy just leaves. Okay, at this point, once the Spirit Breaker has literally just given up on the lane, you are now the position 3, basically.
Okay.
Because no one is laning here, and there's really no reason for no one to be laning here. So if you can sit here and lane, yes, you should lane. Like, why let an entire lane of XP and gold go to nobody? That's silly, right? At the very least, someone should be here getting XP. Now, I can understand this guy's logic. He's like, okay, I'm in an unfavored lane. That means I need to break the lane phase and go start ganking people, right? That kind of makes sense on paper. But the thing is, bro, Spirit Breaker,
Level 2.
it's 3 minutes, you're level 3, you don't even have your boots yet, and this lane was completely playable if you utilize the right tools, right? So it's a weird one, and then he actually gets positively rewarded because the Venge TP's away. So I don't know, man. Dota's a weird game, but actually here, so 1v1 to sniper, you're actually kind of favored because you can walk up and just chunk him every now and then. You could just come in from around the trees and just bash him in the face and then run off again. Like, you don't want to lane it like this. What you want to do is be playing over here, right? You kind of run in and you like try and run in and get a last hit and run out. Or you run in and you punch him and you run out. If you just stand here, he just gets to punch you over and over again. You don't want that.
I think I'm trying to get him like the thing to like come back to lanes. Like we could like do a gank if I got likes.
Right. Another minor thing, obviously, you know, have your tangos in here instead of the ward, so you can actually be sustaining during all this.
Okay.
That's kind of crazy. I wouldn't do that because if this guy, I mean, you don't have your invis, right? So if he had shrapnel and just shrapneled you, he would just kill you here. So. Oh
yeah, I knew he didn't have thingy from the I knew he had his 2 points in his fake aim and thingy for how much damage he was hitting me for.
Okay, well that's a good read. That's a really heads up read. I don't know Sniper well enough to make reads like that on my own, but I'd be worried, like, you know, what if he levels up, or I don't know, what if he gets a bunch of like lucky headshots, or what if he did take 1 point in the shrapnel and I just didn't notice, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
I'd be worried about it. Because he just killed you without shrapnel, right? If that kind of proves the point. So basically, all right, let's sum it up. like basically in a lane like this where you're unfavored, you need to do all the shenanigans, and you don't try to force it. Don't try to force a lane win. You just be patient and you wait for the lane to be good, right? You do everything you can to make it good, but you don't need to like run at them over and over again. You don't need to try and out harass them. You play to your advantages, and you might be unfavored, you know. Maybe this Spirit Breaker's right. Maybe Bounty Hunter was a terrible pick. I don't think it is a terrible pick. I think it's a fine pick here. I think it's totally fine. It just means that you guys need to lane this a little bit differently. And a lot of that is on him to do defensive aggro, right, properly. And a lot of it is on you to make sure that, like, it never happened because they didn't manage the creeps well either. But if they had ever frozen the creeps right here, it would have been very, very bad for you. And then you would have had to do pulls to recover it. So this is a thing I'm noticing consistently. Like, you're not buying enough sentries, basically. Like, they block your camp and you never unblock it. Like, this is something you need to be like more willing to do. Like, the 50 gold for a sentry provides way more golden experience than the 50 gold, because it's not just the jungle creeps that are spawning, it's also allowing you to get last hits when you otherwise wouldn't because of where the creeps now are, because you're doing pulls, getting bonus XP. Like, it's worth it for you, and it's also your job as a support. Like, if the camps are important, then you need to be willing to suck it up and pay for the sentry. So this sentry is great. This is exactly what we want, but I don't think your camp should be blocked for this long. You should have dewarded this one by now. So like, you spent the sentry over here to like look for their ward, right?
Yeah.
A more efficient way to do this would be to just stick it like right here, so you can see most of the box, and maybe you get lucky and you find it, and then also you see some of the wards over here, so maybe you get the 2-for-1. And then from there, let's say you do that and you don't find any wards, then you just buy another sentry and stick it over here, right?
Okay.
But try and get that double value out of it, because you know this is blocked. Try and find this thing right here. Yeah. So any questions about it? Because this is it's a pretty weird scenario, but any questions about any of the stuff I was talking about?
No, I think it's fine. But like you said, like, become pos free, like if like someone just leaves the lane.
Yeah.
Like it's like if it is if I'm just pos free, do like I play like just pos leap for the lane phase, or like do it actually become like pos free? If that makes sense.
So it's a little bit, I was being a little bit facetious. That actually just depends. So like, let's say the Spirit Breaker decides like, oh, I'm not even playing this game and just AFKs, right?
Yeah.
Then you would just be position 3 in that instance. But if this guy's still going to play the game and he's still going to be a position 3 and he's still going to try and win, he's just not laning.
Yeah.
You kind of get to be a position 3 for a few minutes during the lane phase, simply because he's not laning, right? Let's say it was something different. Let's say it was like you were playing, I don't know, you had like a position 3 Ogre Magi and you were laned against a Viper Veno. Right? Okay. You know, maybe eventually that Ogre Magi is going to be like, this lane sucks, I'm just going to leave and I'm going to go try and like jungle or something like that. You know, maybe it's not a good idea, but that's what he decides. If you can still sit in the lane and try and lane it yourself, then you should do that. So yes, you become a core for the lane phase. But then if this guy is still going to play the core role and like buy all the items he's supposed to and make sure he's farming and all that stuff, then yes, you still do your support job. I know that's a kind of convoluted answer, but yeah, basically it's what it comes down to is don't let the farm go to waste, right?
Okay.
But you still need people to support. So if this guy is not, if he's not going to lane and he's not going to support, well then you can lane and then also do support stuff too, which is like buying, you know, wards and sentries and smokes and aura items and all that stuff, right? Whatever it is on your hero. Okay. Cool. So let's just watch a little bit more. We're kind of just coming back and forth to this lane a lot. All right. That's also, we got to point that out. So you kind of like, you trying to make stuff work, but you kind of like, you snipe the courier and then they killed you over here, right? And then over here they just kill you under your tower. So basically, once the first one is kind of okay, like, so when they kill you the first time, you gotta be like, from there, like, oh, I see, okay, they actually can just kill me if they can just 2v1 me, right? Like, they're strong enough to just kill me once one sniper hits 6. So you have to then avoid that situation, and like, you can't like run at them again like that, you know?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. Yeah. So they have a, like, now that there's like levels, they have quite a lot of damage. And also just this guy having his ult and all that stuff. She has like negative armor, and he's probably got shrapnel by now. You have to be really careful. So, and you also have to be careful here not getting baited by Spirit Breaker.
Okay.
This guy's charging, not specifically because he wants to kill this sniper.
Oh
like,
no, he was pinging like good to go.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But this would also be like, outside of this guy, you know, being a crazy person. This is something that a Spirit Breaker would do. He would charge the creeps or the hero to get back to lane quickly. He's not intending to go for a kill. He just wants to get back to lane, right? Because this is not a good scenario to be fighting in. They have an ultimate. You have no ultimates. They have 4 creeps. Like, he's already done his 1 charge. He's now out of spells. This is a, you know, bash him and run away scenario. We're not going to hard commit here. So you're getting baited by this guy. And now look at, see, like, you're under all the creeps. You're getting stunned under the creeps. Like, that's the primary lesson here. Don't get baited by this guy. Just mute him. Okay? So it's going to be takeaway number 1. Don't get baited. Okay? Mute people.
Yeah.
Because this guy, I can see it from the feedback you're getting from him. You made like 4 or 5 like misplays, right? That I don't know if you would have done it otherwise. I don't think you would have done all of them, you know, but maybe a couple of them, but probably not all of them. So you need to recognize that. And especially like, if someone is flaming you and then you notice that you're not playing well, so like, let's say they're flaming you and then you kind of died a little bit more than you normally would, or like now you're missing last hits, you know, immediately mute them, because that means that they actually are tilting you. Sometimes people flame you and you can just brush it off. You don't give a shit. You don't need to mute them because you're like, ah, look at this guy, I don't care, right? You're playing fine. But if you're playing bad and they're flaming you, you need to frickin' mute them right away, because they're having an effect on you, right?
I think I was trying to like, so like he was getting to me like at the start, like he wasn't. I was just like, bro, like chill, like we've got like the whole team is just trying to be like supportive to him, like, if that makes sense. Like at the start, like nah, we've got it, like we've got the win. Like you know what I mean, like it's like, see, like going into it, he said like he's lost like 2 games in a row now, like because like for whatever. And he's like, nah fam, like don't worry, like this will be like the turnaround. You'll get like free, you'll win a game, like it'll be like free. And then it was like, in my head I was thinking, okay then, like in my head, like I can get like back, but if he's like, if I just like commit with him, like he'll get like, or maybe like he'll chill out, if that makes sense. Like mental,
no, I get what you're saying. You're trying to like untilt him. Yeah, no, I get that, but yeah, it's a really hard line to walk. I would just say, in future, if you notice the guy is tilted from the beginning of the game, just frickin' mute him right away.
Okay.
Because more often than not, you are not going to be able to untilt him.
Okay.
It's very rarely going to happen. The only thing that is going to untilt that guy is if you start winning. That's it.
Okay.
So, you know, ironically, help him by not helping him. Just play the game, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rough one. It's definitely a rough one. I noticed myself doing the same thing too, you know, where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try and like appease this guy, and you know, maybe he won't flame me, and then we'll all have fun or whatever. It is always a mistake. Don't get baited into it. Just mute him. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't bother trying to coddle them. And it's more important for I think for you and for me, because we're not pro players, right? I mean, like pro players, even then they tilt too, but you know, we're still learning the game relatively.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be more susceptible to tilting and flaming because we don't have, you know, like in your case, I'm not sure how many hours you have, but like once you've played enough hours, you start to be able to kind of like brush it off and be like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't bother you, right? Or you kind of know to just mute them at that point. But even then, dude, I have people tilt me out too. Like no one is immune to it. You just get more resistant to it over time. But that's why it's important at lower levels, you know, at lower experience levels to like do it, because they're gonna have a big impact on you. So third takeaway here, I don't think there is one actually. I guess it's just like, don't overplay, you know, be patient, wait for timings. Yeah, and this is a lane phase. You just want to kind of like get out of this lane phase and move on to other stuff. Kind of what the Spirit Breaker was doing, but not as early as he did it.
Okay.
The other one is, and this will be the last one. I forgot it. Oh no! I'm thinking. Oh, right. If core abandons the lane, pick the lane over. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, don't leave a lane empty. Like,
okay.
You know, when it's still in the lane phase, there's no reason a lane should be empty. If this guy can't lane it, fine, but someone should. It's important.
Okay.
All right. So, I think that's a lot of stuff. Not a lot of that is very actionable though, in terms of like we could turn it into a replay review in the future. I mean, because all I would tell you here is like, yeah, mute people. And then what are you going to show me, a replay where you muted someone? Like, that's no good, right? So, so what do you think? What's something you feel like you need to work on right now?
If I notice they've warded the lane, deward it.
Okay, that's a good one.
Quickly.
Yeah. It's broad, but that is definitely something to work on.
If they don't do creep aggro, I do creep aggro.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, so we'll just do that. So, we'll just do that. Practice defensive aggro in lane. Practice it. It is rare that it's going to be wrong. It seems to always kind of put the lane in your favor. So,
okay.
And especially if you're not in a good matchup. You'll see this all the time. So like, let's say the lane is like, I don't know, Night Stalker versus Ursa. You will see the Night Stalker immediately aggroes to his range creep, gets the range creep kills, and then he drags the creeps all the way back. Like, you will see that every time, because it's so strong of a move, and it's really hard to do anything about it. And if you don't win the matchup, that's what you want to do. You want to split the matchup into two separate dudes farming instead of farming in front of each other.
So when you creep aggro like defensively, right?
Yeah.
You just click the hero. So do I need to walk into the? How much do I need to walk into the lane? Can they?
Okay. The creeps. I'm pretty sure. I'm doing this from memory. The creeps have basically a 500 aggro radius. And I think ranged creeps might be a little bit larger. I will send you a video on this, okay? Because there's a good video on it. But Basically, they have an invisible like aura around them. It's kind of like their attack range. Not exactly the attack range, but just imagine the same sort of thing. They have a little circle around them where if you issue an attack order onto an enemy hero,
they'll go for me.
They'll go for you. And then what actually is happening, this is a weird way to think about it, but every hero effectively has an invisible spell that goes on a 3-second cooldown every time you aggro. So, because you know that you can aggro creeps from across the map, right?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I do it sometimes if like there's no one in my lane. I'll click, like say I'm like playing Axe, I'll click on the enemy in the other lane to get the creeps to like attack me. So
Yeah. Right. Okay. So the reason you can do that is because you have effectively you have a global spell that is aggroing every creep onto you. Or like, and then they all check for priority, right? So if you're outside of the range of those creeps, then it doesn't hit them. It's weird. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's global, but they won't react unless they are in range of it. So you basically need to get like within like, I don't know, let's say 400 range, you know, like Luna's attack range. Get to about that, right click them and run away. And then you'll actually have a cooldown of about 3 seconds where you won't be able to aggro again.
Okay.
And so a trick you can do here, and actually this is what ranged heroes can do, is they can aggro you from outside of the creep's range. So like, let's say the Venge right here, right?
Yeah.
If she's like just outside of the range of this creep, she can aggro you right now. It goes on cooldown for 3 seconds, and she can walk up to the creeps and keep attacking you, and they will ignore her for that 3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
You can use it both ways. You can use it to deliberately drag the creeps, or you can use it to actually make the creeps ignore you. It's very powerful.
Okay.
I'll show you a video. It'll explain the whole thing. I'm not an expert on it. I just know that it's like, it's something everybody needs to learn. It's very important.
Okay.
So, yeah. Practice defensive aggro in lane. And we'll say, do some research and learn about creep aggro. And even go ahead and look on the wiki and read about it. You know, read about like how creep aggro works, because it's a whole priority stack, especially when you're looking at like how tower aggro works as well. It's the same kind of thing. It's really complicated, and you need to kind of like read it. But that'll be immensely helpful for you, I think.
I know on like the towers you can like click a creep if it's shooting you to shoot something else.
Yeah, you can de-aggro the tower, right?
Yeah.
Similar thing. There's a bunch of little things you can do.
How does the tower choose aggro? Because sometimes I'll be in like singing, and then like
it's too much to talk about right now.
okay.
There's videos on that too that I will refer to you, but yeah, because I want to keep this a little bit short, right? So
yeah.
I will refer more resources for that one as well. But basically the way it works is the tower has 2 circles, and it has a priority within one circle and then a different priority within the smaller circle. Like where basically one is more strict than the other. So you can get away with things based on how close you are to the tower. It's strange.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's not enough time to go over it now, but we'll talk about that next time, and I'll send you some videos.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, then we're good. Thank you for the session, dude. Good job on the climb, and I will. I'm looking forward to next week.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, dude.
I'll
Have a
see you
good one.
next week. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. If that was helpful, don't forget to check out the playlist at the end of the video. I have a whole bunch of other coaching videos on there. I record these live on Twitch. You can come check me out there, Mr. Up TV. And thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. I will see you in the next video.